Today, digging through those comments once again to answer your questions. Let's talk Lions. Thank you for liking, for commenting, and subscribing to the channel. Listen, you're all doing the hard working. You're getting in there, you're getting into the comment section, and you're asking me questions. And those questions I appreciate. Because here I am always saying, thank you for liking, thank you for commenting, and you know what? You deserve answers to your questions. So, without any further ado, let's break it down. The first question comes from Ian Saunders. Ian said, also, we need first round defense, don't you think? Because we need someone like Chase Young. And Jeff Okudah also needs to be retooled out of Patricia's defensive coaching. We're going to hit that first part because that's really where the question is. Do you think we need to take a defensive player round one? This is what's difficult right now. The best defensive player that I see on the board for the Lions that will make the greatest impact for the Detroit Lions on day one is Micah Parsons. Now, there is unfortunately so much terrible news coming out regarding him and what's going on, potential hazing and really just a lot of bad allegations surrounding the young man. And so what's tough is I don't know if he will go in the top 10. I don't know if he'll go first round. I did see a mock draft recently that placed him at the Packers at 29th. That would be devastating. Would not enjoy that. And it's tough. It's tough because off-field decisions are greatly affecting his in-draft in NFL value, market value, so to say. So that is tough. When I look at it, would I like to go defensive first round? Yeah, I would. I love Micah Parsons' play. I think we went over it in the last video. I look at Micah Parsons, man, I think he would be an absolute asset to the Detroit Lions. I just don't know if we could take him with everything that's kind of going on, all the buzz, all the bees buzzing around him. So with that being said, personally, I am going to lean towards a wide receiver. There is some solid wide receiver depth in this draft. A lot of people are saying, what about second round, third round, kind of reaching out, grabbing a wide receiver then? I do think that's great. But looking at some of the wide receivers that will go in the first round in the top 10, I would love to snag one of them. So if Micah Parsons is off the table, defensively speaking, I say move over and grab a wide receiver. Which leads me to the second question from this guy's name I can't pronounce. Menachem Mendel Rosenstein? Oh, my bad, man. Woof. Which his question is, who would you take for wide receiver out of Chase or Waddle? For those of you who do not know, he is referring to Jamar Chase out of LSU or Jalen Waddle out of Alabama. Between the two, who would I take? Personally, looking at now Goff as our quarterback, looking at having Quintus Cephas and Geronimo Allison as our only wide receivers, Kenny Galladay still up in the air. Between those two, I like Jalen Waddle more, just personally. Between both Waddle's change of direction and speed, those two values that I see in him are pretty high. I look at Waddle, I see a guy who kind of has that Tyreek Hill, kind of reminds me of Tyreek Hill in a way. Nobody's Tyreek Hill, let's just be clear, but Waddle does kind of remind me of him. Not to mention with Jamal Agnew on the free agency block, this guy, Waddle, can return punts. That might be big. That's what Jamal Agnew has done for us. Maybe we're able to cut Agnew and Jalen Waddle fills that slot as well. In his sophomore year, he did average about 24 yards per punt return. So when you look at that, punt returning skills, his speed, the ease of changing direction, I see Waddle as a very valuable asset for us compared to Jamar Chase. The next question comes from Brian Smith. This comment was in regards to my video regarding Allen Robinson coming to the Lions as a possibility. And he said, he's been a complete stud with a literal Muppet throwing the ball over the field. Let's be real though. If you were Allen Robinson, would you want to go to Detroit with Goff? Doesn't seem that much more appealing than the Chicago situation. Great point. Just a great point. First of all, the Muppet comment, so good. So good. Really looking at it, what would draw Allen Robinson to the Lions? I think it's so much of this coaching staff overhaul. The fact that, first of all, Allen Robinson is a Detroit native. That's where he grew up. So there's this homecoming feel, especially during a time when you're watching a retool sort of begin. When you see this retooling, this rebuilding with a coaching staff coming in that is as fire as what we're seeing, at that point, I think if Allen Robinson and the money is good for both parties, for the Lions and for him, sure, Goff is not Rodgers. It's not like you're going somewhere where the quarterback play is going to be phenomenal, but Goff is a good enough quarterback to be able to get you the ball and to really create something new and allow your market value to drive up. Allen Robinson's already worth a ton. He's probably going to be worth 17, 18 mil. Depends on now with the whole cap hit and everything going on because of COVID. But what would actually draw him here? A, being a native Detroiter. B, seeing the rebuild. And C, being wide receiver number 1. The next question is, well, not a question at all. And it comes from JD. JD says, "Hey, bro, nice outfit." Thank you, JD. It's very sweet of you. The next question comes from It's Neto. Probably said that wrong, but that's okay. He said, "I want to know what free agents you would like to see in Detroit next season. Maybe a wide receiver, Allen Robinson, or a running back like Fournette or Aaron Jones. I'm curious." Hey, thank you for the curiosity. Curiosity may have killed the cat, but I got your comment here on this video, so good boy, son. With that being said, what free agents would I like to see come to Detroit? You bring up Allen Robinson. I have an entire video about it. You can check it out up here. I don't want to re-say everything I said in there, but all in all, that is a huge free agency move that I think the Detroit Lions could make if the Lions will be spending large dollar bills when it comes to the wide receiver position. Really, when I look at it between Golladay and Robinson, I would choose Robinson over Golladay due to Galladay's injury, and his dollar value seems to be above Allen Robinson, so I think we could make the move, get ARob in here, maybe for $15 million, but I don't want to spend any more than that. You do bring up Aaron Jones and Fournette. Fournette, I don't think would fit into what we're trying to do here, so that I will pass on. Aaron Jones, on the other hand, if the Packers let him slip away, then I just don't understand what's happening in the great state of Wisconsin. I do not think Aaron Jones will leave the Packers, but if he did, would I like to get him? Sure. But will he cost too much? Yes. I think that his price will be too high, and I love what we're doing with DeAndre Swift right now. AP will probably not be re-signed. So really what we're looking at is we have Kerryon Johnson and DeAndre Swift. Who knows if Kerryon's going to stick around? So a running back, not a bad decision. Aaron Jones will be too pricey for the Lions this year. Would I love him here? Sure. But I think he will drive too high of a cost. That being said, a defensive free agent would probably be a better selection for the Lions as we're trying to retool. One of them specifically coming from the Baltimore Ravens. That's right, Matthew Judon. When you look at what Judon did with the Ravens, he had a successful season. I think he played phenomenally, really elevating himself to being worth the price to other teams, not the Ravens, when you look at what he was able to do there. He had a total of 49 tackles, 6 sacks, and he hit the opposing team's QBs 21 times. All in all, as a linebacker, seeing what he was able to do in Baltimore, that's somebody I'd like to keep my eye on. Not saying definitely go out and get him, but I think it's worth having the conversation, trying to figure it out. The next question comes from Sarah Bader. She said, "How do you know all this?" You know, Sarah, it's kind of like, I feel like Dr. Frankenstein, just spending time in the lab, doing my research, and trying to bring something to life. That's it. That's probably the best. Research, for sure. Definitely research. Thank you, everybody who submitted your questions. I appreciate it. I love looking through it, discussing with you, and then creating videos about it. So if you have any other questions, please feel free, drop them in the comments. And as always, I look forward to catching you next time on Let's Talk Lions.